Are you ready to take your love for Spurs to the next level? Because we've got some exciting news for you. We're amping up our membership program so you can get even more of your Spurs fix. Plus, we're giving you ample opportunities to show off your Tottenham knowledge and win some epic prizes along the way.
As a Platinum member, you'll get access to exclusive shows, Q&A sessions, as well as FIFA content. You'll also have weekly chances to win We Are Tottenham TV merch in our weekly giveaways exclusively for you, our members.
But wait, there's more! We're introducing members-only giveaways during our watch-alongs, so not only can you watch the game with us, but you can also interact and win some incredible gifts along the way, talk about a win-win situation.
And if you're a die-hard Tottenham Hotspur fan, we've got something special just for you. Our frequent Spurs quizzes will test your knowledge and reward the most passionate fan with some amazing prizes. And if that's not enough, you can even be part of our weekly fan shows and have your say on everything happening at Tottenham Hotspur. It's like being in the locker room with the team. Well, not quite that, but you get the idea.
All of this epic content and exclusive benefits can be yours for just £12.99 per month. That's less than the price of a burger and a pint at the Tottenham Stadium. So don't wait, join our We Are Tottenham community today and take your love for Spurs to the next level. Trust us, you won't regret it. Come on, you Spurs.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for the last fan show of the season as Spurs have won 4-1 at Ellen Road, confirming no European football for next season. A great send-off for Lucas Moura. And look, I want to hear your opinions. If you think it's good for us, no European football next season, do you think it will help us, or do you think it will hinder us and you'd prefer to be in Europe, whichever way that comes? But yeah, interesting game today, though.
Yeah, I think the game went as expected for me anyway. It was very few surprises in terms of how...
Apart from Lucas Moura.
But yeah, obviously Lucas Moura, that's obviously a brilliant goal. But look, Harry Kane, 30 Premier League goals as well. What a way to end the season for him, even if it is going to be his last game for Spurs. I guess we'll have to wait and see the reports of him crying after the game when he went over to the away fans. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Kulusevski's had some fairly worrying quotes I've seen on doing the rounds on social media, him saying he doesn't know about his future, which is fairly worrying. You would have thought he would know that he's staying at Tottenham unless it's maybe not confirmed.
Well, you know why that's even more worrying? Because only a few months ago he was saying Tottenham's my club and I'm going to be here next season and stuff like that.
I see myself as a Tottenham player.
Yeah.
He said that. Now he's saying I don't know, which is a bit worrying. But no European football for the first time since 2009. So that's quite a long time since we've been out of European football. Will the new manager like that he has that time midweek to really work with the team? Or is it just going to be seen as a kind of blemish on Tottenham's European record after being in so many seasons consecutive European football? Would we rather be in it than without it? Who said it? Tottenham should always be in Europe. Was it Bill Nick or Danny Blanchard?
I think it was Bill Nick, but I can't remember 100%.
Something like that. So if we're going back to Tottenham's DNA, being in Europe is part of Tottenham's DNA. That's the truth.
But is the Conference League part of Tottenham's DNA?
That's another good question. But that's something we won't have to think about now until next season. Hopefully, we can take advantage of not being in Europe.
Yeah, and I think whether you think Tottenham should always be in Europe, and yes, they should. I think it's happened now, so you've got to take the positives from it and you've got to look forward and seeing what we can gain from it as opposed to looking back and seeing what we're missing out from it.
Funny thing is, who's good at managing one game a week?
Who's that? Antonio.
Antonio. Bring him back. I've heard he's free at the moment.
Yeah, that really takes us back to the Spurs DNA, doesn't it?
Brilliant, yeah.
All right, well, we've got action-packed lines, and let's start off with our first caller of the day, and it is Ross. Ross, how's it going, my friend?
It's going well. Well, it's over.
Exactly. Is that the main sticking point from today? I mean, I woke up with a bit of a spring in my step this morning, just knowing that the season is going to be over today. What's your reaction to the game?
Yeah, I know it was good. I mean, we job done. We went there and won an away game, which has been a rare thing these days.
Yeah.
I wanted us to go out and show something, show some fight, show some heart. And, we took care of business. Unfortunately, we had to depend on other teams to help us out. And, that's not a position you want to be in. But no, good overall effort. I mean, Harry Kane, what else can you say? King Harry the First, once again, shows why he's on that throne. I mean, he's carried us. He's been there for us. 30 goals in a season like this, it's just insane. And it gets eclipsed because of Haaland. He's the wonder kid and all of that. But, I always say I never have to defend Harry Kane. I just say, look at the stats. That's all I ever say. Just look at the stats. The numbers speak for themselves. I don't have to defend him at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And was that one thing that you were looking at for today is to qualify for the Conference League, or are you not too bothered about it?
I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest. It's nice to have Europe. I think that's good. In any capacity, anytime you can be in a competition, it's good. But it'll be nice to not have to go to Bulgaria and play in some Soviet area stadium on a Thursday night. That's definitely the plus of it, with the fireworks smoke coming on the pitch and all that crazy stuff. So, and it gives the whoever comes in, like you said, more time to work with the squad. Focus on the domestic competitions. We'll only have to travel within England. That's a definite plus. That should definitely help, keep guys fit and not getting too tired out.
Yeah, talking about Harry Kane, though, we didn't see the images themselves because we were on camp, we were live, but there were reports of him, being on the verge of tears or being in tears after the game. Did you see any of that while watching the game?
I watched the end, and I did see him overclapping at the to the away fans. I didn't see it. He didn't seem like to me that he was emotional. Really, I mean, just it was just a quick shot. I didn't see, of course, obviously the whole time. But remember, also, I think a year or two ago, everybody was trying to, oh, he looks sad, he's this and that, and it didn't anything come out of that. I mean, he's got what, 1 year left. This next season is his final year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's going to finish that year out. I think he will. I think he'll do that, and then that's why this summer is very, very critical. I mean, we say that every summer, but this one in particular, because this is that last season. I think he'll give it this last season, and then when his contract is up, if he doesn't think we're in a good spot, then he may look to go somewhere else. But I think we'll have at least one more year.
And one player who definitely was emotional at the end, and that was Lucas Moura. I mean, on the pitch for a minute or so, and he scores that goal. I mean, rounding 2 or 3 players, taking it through the heart of the Leeds defence. I mean, what a fitting way to end his Tottenham career, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So happy for him. As he was driving in for that goal, I'm like, hey, Ajax remix. It looked just like that. And he got it. And yeah, super happy for that guy. I mean, we've been hard on him, and he's had a rough time. And made some big mistakes this year, but other players do too. And we'll always have that night in Amsterdam, and you guys were there.
Yeah.
And we'll always have that. He will always be remembered and be a legend at the club for what he did that night for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player who kind of stood out today was Pedro Porro, getting a goal and an assist, really making the difference in that second half. He's kind of had a mixed time, I should say, since arriving at the club, come under a lot of criticism for maybe his defensive ability. But do you reckon since Mason's come in especially, he's really shown his worth in terms of going forward?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's best at. We've seen that, and other people have said that. I call him El Diablo because of how he plays. Like a devil, just always running up and down. But yeah, Mason's got him playing more forward. Went to the back 4, got Royal or whoever behind him. So now he can be more focused on going forward. Making himself dangerous. He doesn't have to worry about defense as much, and it's really paid off. I mean, that was a clinical finish. I mean, that was just a really nice finish. And we're not used to that. Clinical finishes from our wingbacks. What are those?
Absolutely. And he's done more probably in half a season than Emerson Royale has done going forward in about 2 seasons for us. So you got to give him his credit.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And yeah, Royal's done what came in. Royal had another good game. Also Basuma. I want to shout out Basuma, or Basizzle, as I like to call him. That guy, he really controlled that midfield, gave us that calming presence in the middle that we just haven't had, recently, ever since Bentancur went out. And he's another guy that's had injuries, hasn't had some time. So it's good to see him go out there and just kind of, glide around and do his thing. And he really made a difference.
Yeah, now looking forward, we are on the hunt for a manager at the moment. Arne Slot said no. Well, didn't say no, but we didn't want to play the release clause. Jabi Alonso's staying, company's staying. Managers are just falling by the wayside every day. I mean, who are you looking at? Who do you want next?
I don't know. I still don't think we're out of it with Nagelsmann. I mean, yeah, we did kind of rule him out, but he's kind of crept back in. You're not really hearing about him being connected with anybody else. So I do think we have a chance there. Outside of that, I mean, some of the other names might be all right. I haven't, a lot of, like you said, a lot of them are getting snapped up. But like I said, I don't think Nagelsmann is out of the picture yet. That's who I would like to have. I think he would really come in and give us what we've been looking for.
All right. Well, Ross, it's been a pleasure speaking to you all season. Thank you for calling in and taking part in the channel. And we'll see you throughout the summer and next season. So it's been great chatting to you throughout the season.
You guys too. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. That was Ross. Let's keep going. Step up Spurs. Elias is up next. Yes, Elias. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, is he frozen?
I think he's frozen.
I think he is.
Elias, if you reconnect, we'll try and get you on. Do we have anyone else lined up at the moment?
Yeah, we've got someone coming on just now.
Look who it is.
Just gonna get him on.
We're getting George on in a second. We're just lining him up and we'll bring him on. Hi, George. How's it going, mate? I'm loving the retro shirt.
Thanks. Hi, you guys. I hope you're well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm just feeling with a whole weight lifted off my shoulders now. The season's finished. It's time to relax now. Well, I say time to relax. We still don't have a manager or a sporting director, and the club is still in an absolute shambles. But I'm just happy this season's behind us. You feeling the same?
Yeah, I am. I really was. I've been sort of really downbeat sort of the last few weeks with everything that's been going on. It's been really difficult trying to get spirits up for each game as it's coming, and each one is a disappointment. Um, I don't know. The only plus side really for me for today was Lucas's goal. I just want to say what a class act
Yeah.
Lucas Moura has been for all the criticism that he's received, and he's just continued to play with his heart on his sleeve and as a real ambassador for the club. He's never really outwardly moaned or anything like that. He's given us some sensational moments as well. So I just really, if any of his entourage or if he's watching, I just want to say thanks, Lucas, for all those moments. But it's difficult. I mean, like you say, no manager, no director of football. It's the season's finished, but to a certain degree, I'm really worried over the next, few weeks. We're obviously not going to sign anybody until we get a director of football. I can't see Harry Kane staying. So unless there is a huge, huge rebuild, then I think we're going to have another real drudgery of a season next season as well. I'm struggling to see some light at the end of the tunnel.
And George, you mentioned no manager and no sporting director, but also no European football next season as well, after Villa pipped us to the last Conference League spot. For you, were you hoping Brighton could do us a favour, or are you pretty happy to not be in that competition?
No, I don't want any European football. I just think that it's pointless. I think it's pointless because we don't have the players to compete at that level, whether it be Conference League or the Europa League, and certainly not the Champions League. I think the only thing that we're doing by being in those competitions is just putting, money into ENIC coffers, as far as I can see. I was always very much. I'm a bit of a convert on this. I was always very much that you've got to be in Europe each season. You've got to have the profile there for players to see, to attract players. But ultimately, if you're not going to spend money on wages, if you're not going to invest in managers, if your recruitment is going to be as poor as our recruitment's been, it's just a waste of time. I'd rather we concentrated on trying to get an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, because really I just think that that's our level at the moment. I don't think we should be looking any higher than that, unless we're ready to compete for those larger trophies. And at the moment, I can't see how that's going to happen with the players we've got.
What do you think a prospective manager's opinion might be on it? Do you reckon they'd rather they can't take over a team that's in Europe, or do you reckon they'll be happy to have that extra time on the training pitch?
It's going to be how you sell it to the manager, isn't it? Because if it's a young manager like a Nagelsmann, he's going to see it as being a challenge. Let's get this club into Europe. Let's get us winning domestic trophies. So I think it will depend on the manager that you're lining up. I think that we need to be going for a manager who's young, who's energetic, and who's willing to take up that challenge, because I think any more someone who's more long in the tooth, I just don't think he's going to want to hack it. The grief that this job is going to bring them is just really not worth it. So I still think that we may be in with a shot for Nagelsmann if Levy gets desperate enough, which could well happen over the next couple of weeks. So, he does need to go begging bowl in hand now, because we've really made ourselves the pariah of the Football Manager contingent. So let's see. I mean, I think it's more a winner for a player as opposed to a manager. But again, if you're not going to pay their wages and you're not going to, your recruitment's going to be crap, then there's no point.
In terms of looking forward to next season, you say, you know, you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, which I kind of feel a bit similar to you. But with the recent performances of Bissouma and Pedro Porro, especially today, do you see that maybe there is quite, you know, there's talented players here to work with for next season if we do get the managerial appointment right, isn't there?
Yeah, again, I kind of slightly disagree with the criticism that Richarlison's received this season. I mean, he's had some significant injuries. He's had a difficult World Cup, and he's also been thrown in the melting pot that has been Tottenham Hotspur. And none of those things are easy for these players. The problem is the responsibility is falling on shoulders here, on too few shoulders. So there is, you know, Pedro Porro, I think, is, you know, someone who I think Emerson Royale gets a bad rap. I think there is a lot of pressure. What the mistake that's happened at Tottenham is when Poch was sacked, it was done so poorly, and in my opinion, he shouldn't have been sacked anyway. But the reality was there was a core of players there that does not belong at Tottenham anymore. We need to have moved on, and that moving on never happened. So the investment in that side has been missing for a while. If the club decides to throw money at it, which is what's needed, unfortunately. So if you're going to get the bigger players in, they're going to have to open the purse strings, get them in. Otherwise, next year it could be, I mean, can you imagine if Harry Kane isn't part of the team next season and we stick with what we've got? I mean, you know, we're going to be like Everton were, you know, today. I mean, I hate to say it, but we're not much of a club without Harry Kane. And you're going to put more of a burden on all those players. I mean, they're just going to want to leave. I mean, it's just they need to see it for what it is at the moment, and we're getting torn apart by, you know, the factions within the fan base, and just generally the board being so incompetent on football matters that I as I say, I struggle to see a light at the end of the tunnel and see where the end is going to come. I mean, if we were to get in a fantastically good manager now, and they are, you know, they really do go all out for trying to get some new players, maybe we can get the fan base together and push on for next season. But, you know, with no Nagelsmann being in sight, with no Slot being in sight, you know, and everybody turning us down, it's just really difficult to motivate yourself to really look at the press at the moment, or Twitter, or anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's been some worrying comments from Kulusevski after the game as well. I mean, only a few months ago, he was coming out in the press saying he feels like a Tottenham player. Now he's saying he doesn't know if he's going to be here next season or not. Is that worrying for you?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, obviously, Kulu's one of the shining lights in sort of in that, you know, in the club. Him and Bentancur. I mean, if you think about it, they came together. Would Bentancur want to stick around if Kulu's not there and we don't have a high-profile manager? It's just like I said. I mean, it's a bit of a mess, and that's an understatement, as we all well know. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm donning a retro shirt because I just don't want to be seen wearing Nike stuff or anything that's really going to promote this regime. You know, I'm really disappointed. Half my wardrobe is bloody Nike gear, you know, that I've sort of stashed to one side, that I've spent a fortune on. But, you know, I just don't feel right wearing
George, burn it all.
Yeah, I wish I could. I'm too much of a diehard, unfortunately, to do anything like that. But, I mean, I've renewed my season ticket, and the day after we lost to Brentford. But, you know, look, it's going to be a difficult season. Just strapping myself in here and trying to get ready for the rocky road that's going to be, I think, what we're going to be faced with. Look, the problem is that so many other clubs have strengthened as well. We've got Arsenal there, we've got Newcastle. You know, it's going to be really difficult. I mean, Villa are probably going to strengthen, I would imagine, as well. Liverpool, they're regrouping. I just it's going to be really really tricky if they want Champions League. If ENIC want Champions League football for Tottenham, then they are going to have to spend big. If they are indifferent to what's actually happening on that football field, they're going to get found out very soon. I'm talking about this transfer window, because if they don't, like I said, next season is going to be a bigger shit show than this season's been.
George, it's been a pleasure speaking to you throughout the season. Hopefully we'll get to speak to you over the summer, and obviously we'll be keeping up next season as well. But it's been a pleasure having you on throughout the season.
Guys, well done for the season as well. It's not been an easy one, and you guys have always kept that upbeat profile, and
we try
continue
anyway.
to well, you continue to sort of fight the good fight and be on here for all of us. So thank you guys as well, and come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs. Thanks George for coming on. Great call as always. Let's see, Elias. Let's get him on. It looks like he's unfrozen now. So, Elias, how you doing, my friend?
Hello, guys. I'm doing okay. Trying not to think so much about what happened today. But I would say that the season almost finished when we lost to Brentford. It was never in our hands. It's a shame that in 14 years, for the first time, Spurs has not qualified for Europe. It's a shame indeed, but I think Conference League, not anything big either. Nothing that really excited you. But yeah, at least it's something. At least, yeah, you can rub it in the face of Chelsea fans that, okay, we are in Europe, we are not in Europe, that sort of thing. But now there's nothing really that you can say like we are as bad as Chelsea, guys. If you think like Chelsea is finishing this year as 12th, we are as bad as them. No European football. There's nothing that separates us at the moment right now. So yeah, sad about it, and not expecting anything great either from the summer window. This is embarrassing in my opinion. Like the this whole season is an embarrassment, not just for this club, but for players like Harry Kane, who have this season scored 30 goals and he has finished at the 8th spot. It's embarrassing for a player like of that quality to be playing for Spurs when he can be actually doing much better. And I feel sad for him, guys, to be honest, really. And that's my general sentiments about this game and this whole season.
And you talking about Harry Kane. He obviously scored his 29th and 30th Premier League goal this season with a brace. A lot of people have been commenting about his goodbye. Maybe it was an emotional goodbye, or maybe it was just a normal thing. Do you think that was his last game for Tottenham?
It's really a tough one. I mean, we all know that how precious of an asset Harry Kane is to Tottenham Hotspur. What we would be without him. I think if the other day I was calculating the goals, like let's say if not for Harry Kane's goals, we could be like I think at 16th or 17th positions, just avoiding the relegation, something like that. And we all know that like but when Harry Kane goes away, what comes up next? That's a question I think on a lot of Spurs fans, on the minds of a lot of Spurs fans. Would Heung-min Son step up? And if not, would Heung-min Son also want to leave? Would players like Kulusevski also want to leave when Harry Kane leaves? In my opinion, it's very likely that this would happen. And would any player see that as an opportunity to step up? No, I don't think so. Like in Tottenham Hotspur, I don't see that mentality at the moment. Like any player would even see that as an opportunity to step up. Uh, it's gonna be tough. If Harry Kane were to go, Daniel Levy is gonna demand a lot of money. Uh, he would try his best, I think, still to keep him as much as possible. And the other thing, I don't know, like I've been saying that out in some of the channels as well. Maybe if Harry Kane goes, we might see something a little bit different. Some classic Daniel Levy move of selling Harry Kane with a buyback clause, or send him on like a longer loan or something. Because we all know that Harry Kane is an important asset to this club. A buyback clause won't be a bad idea. Like let's say Harry Kane, Levy might say, because in all honesty, I do think that Harry Kane still loves this club. He still has this sort of an attachment with this club, And I think Levy would try to ride on that. Like, let's say he says, okay, you can go on, win trophies, give two more seasons to another club, but let's say after that, I have a buyback clause in your contract, something like that.
How
Who
does that
knows?
work, Elias, when he's only got 1 year left in his contract?
So what I think he will do is he would sell him in summer, and then he might have like a buyback clause somehow. It can work, I guess. I don't know, seriously, but because it's all the contract thing. It's not so much of how much he has at the moment in his current contract, but in future, like there's a buyback clause in there. Yeah, it may work. Who knows?
I mean, I'd love to sit here and think that's a possibility, but I really don't think so, to be honest.
You never know.
No, because the thing is, Harry Kane is currently getting older as well. Like he is gonna be 30 this year. I think 30 or
In the
31
summer,
this
yeah.
year. Yeah, 30 or 31 this year. And a player like Harry Kane, maybe he will last a season or two or maybe three at another club. So he doesn't hold that much of a value to then sell on. Like, let's say if he doesn't work at that club, let's just say, or when his time is over at that club, he may not be that good for that particular club as an option on a sale. Like that club may not be earning that much on him on sale. So it makes sense for Harry Kane to come back to Spurs rather than moving on. But that's all I guess I can think of as classic Levy move. But it's something that I think it may work. If let's say Daniel Levy wants to have Harry Kane back once again and a ride on him, but yeah, maybe it's too much. Is a bit of is a bit of like a dream that we have. Let's see.
Wake up, Elias. Wake up. You're not dreaming anymore. This is real life.
Elias,
Yeah,
talking about player future, Kulusevski today was asked about his future after the game, and he said, on his future, I don't know, honestly. I'm just focused on the pitch. I try to do as good as I can, and now, of course, it's time to speak with the club, and then everything, we will see what will happen. A few weeks ago, he was saying he sees himself as a Spurs player, and now he's saying he doesn't know about his future. Is that concerning for you?
it is concerning. I mean, if Harry Kane is leaving, Kulusevski is leaving. Like, what kind of forward line do you have? Lucas Moura has just retired, not to say retired, but he's leaving on a free. Richarlison has been crap lately. Uh, so I don't see anything positive in Tottenham Hotspur moving forward, unless Daniel Levy goes, guys. Seriously, I mean, I will be honest with this fan base. At this point, like, I don't know whether you're Levy in, Levy out, Inik in, Inik out, Mason in, Mason out, Conte out, whatever. Guys, like, do you really think there is something positive lying ahead if Levy is still in charge next season? Do you expect anything positive? Like right now, we can already see that the managers don't want to come to our club. There are news going on. That's a lot of managers are talking among themselves that Tottenham Hotspur is a graveyard for the managers. Do you really think that there's anything positive under this sky next season? And nothing is changing as well. Like even though even though we would have a coach, we would have a new manager, we would have a couple of new players, a new prospect, a footballing director, everything is gonna repeat again. I mean, if I look at it, this season is it seems like the repeat of what happened under when we hired Nuno, or kind of worse. Like that season, we went to Conference League in its first season. This season, we don't even have that. Maybe we might end up with a manager like Nuno, or some sort of that quality sort of manager. Uh, I know that we are thinking about Ange Postecoglou and stuff like that. He's not a prem proven manager. He has been playing in leagues that are like that, where it's just always where it always has been a one horse race. I know some people are like matching him with Pep and that sort of stuff, but he's no Pep, guys. Seriously, he's not a good manager. He has always managed in the leagues that have been like one horse race. He has managed in countries like Japan, Australia, Greece, and all that. Like he's not a prem proven manager. Even if he comes in here, he can't do anything good. Uh, who else would want to come? Nagelsmann. I don't see Nagelsmann willing to work with Levy with his demands lately. He's quite a demanding manager, and I think, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the problem that he had towards the end with Bayern as well. If he comes in as well, he's not gonna be able to work with Levy. Who would be able to work with Levy other than maybe someone like Graham Potter or Brendan Rodgers? Uh, I don't see anything positive unless Daniel Levy and Inik goes out, or even the least is that remove Daniel Levy as chairman, hire a new chairman, remove Cullen, may have a whole shift in the board of directors, change the whole structure. If that happens, maybe yes, like let's say if Lewis' daughter take over, things like that may look positive in future. But other than that, there's no positivity, in my opinion, for this club.
In terms of looking forward to next season, with Leicester, Southampton and Leeds getting relegated, the likes of Maddison, Tielemans, James Ward-Prowse, all going down to the Championship, which players out of those three clubs would you be willing to take at Tottenham?
Leicester, I think their players are pretty okay. James Maddison, definitely. Tielemans, maybe. Ward-Prowse, maybe no. I think Ward-Prowse is just Højbjerg who can take free kicks. I'll put it out there for everybody else there. I know some people think that he's like a creator and stuff like that. James Ward-Prowse is not an attacking mid, or he's not a number 10 guys. So I'll go for someone like James Maddison. And I wonder like if James Maddison has a buyback clause and all that, because apparently he was kind of interested in coming to Tottenham, but lately his interest has a lot been in lately Newcastle have been quite a lot interested in him as well, and Arsenal have shown some interest in him too. So it's going to be tough. Like he might prefer Champions League football, and this transfer window, guys, is going to be another challenging one. Again, it's going to be another challenging window. You have likes of Brighton, Aston Villa, and all those teams have finished ahead of us. We don't have European football. And on top of that, all these problems, who would want to come to Tottenham, even though they have been relegated? I think if those European teams, those teams who are playing in Europe right now, they would be wanting to cash on some of these players, like the likes of James Ward-Prowse, James Maddison. Even Leeds has some good players who can play well. I think Luke Ayling is not a bad defender as well. Players like them, yeah.
All right, Elias, it's been a pleasure speaking to you throughout the season. We hope you have a very good summer, and obviously keep in touch because we will be doing streams throughout the summer. So thank you for joining us this year.
Yep, thanks for joining. Thanks for having me, guys. And as always, Levy out.
Come on, you Spurs. See you later, Elias. Who do we have next?
Oh, look who it is.
Look what the cat dragged in. Let's bring him on. Come on. Yes, KPV. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just finished watching the game, and yeah, Lucas ended it on high scoring a goal, and what a goal! Like, he ran past not one, not two, but three Leeds players. Like, I think that's what Son done against Burnley. Another Puskas incoming, I think. Surely that has to be contender for Puskas Award, surely?
You never know, KPV. That seems to be our award at the moment. That's the only thing we can win.
Yeah, Richarlison was robbed. Why?
Who won it this year? Who won it this year?
Won what?
The Puskas.
I don't know.
Because we won it the two previous years, didn't we? Yeah. Lamella won it, I think.
Lamella and
Son.
Lamella.
That was like three.
Son and Lamella, you mean?
Son and Lamella won it, yeah. I don't know who the last one.
Who won it this year, KPV?
I don't know. I can't think of the player's name. Must have been from a different country. But Richarlison was nominated for them 2 goals he scored for Brazil against. Who was it? He scored them 2 goals for Brazil against in the World Cup.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, I can't. Was it Serbia?
Yeah, that's
South
the one.
Korea? No,
Serbia, wasn't
Serbia.
it?
Serbia.
Yeah, because I watched your video, your match day. Well, the watch along, and yeah, Richarlison, man, he's what? Like, we could have won it 3 years in a row, man. Son, Lamella, Richie, like another robbery. But the game today, like, great performance, and first of all, we were actually brilliant. Like last weekend against Brentford, we were brilliant first half, and we go and lose. But finally, we win a final game on the final day, like we done against Norwich last year. 1-5-0.
It's a shame, KPV. When we beat Norwich, though, we did it to clinch Champions League. When we beat Leeds today, we did it to clinch no European football.
Well, we've done a double over Leeds again, and we won at their ground.
What a team! What a team!
You forgot we did the double over Leeds.
Yeah, second season in a row we've beaten Leeds twice.
Damn
Last
right.
season,
Who are we going to beat next year, KPV? They're not going to be in the Premier League.
Gonna have no wins.
well, I'm gutted for Coventry yesterday because I was in a pub watching it, and I'm their local hero because I was born there. And I am gutted.
Are you know? I see. Are you known in Coventry? Are you, Carl? Are you a legend in Coventry?
Yeah, I was born there, mate. I was born, and my
When
mate went to the
KPV
game.
walks the streets of Coventry, he gets swarmed. That's the KP Coventry of
Is that what the hat's
KPV of
about?
Coventry.
You look like you're fresh from a coronation. Are you crowning yourself King of Coventry?
I got it from the King's coronation a few Fridays ago when I went, and I got it. So I'm King KPV here, and so yeah, I'm King, you see, and
Yes,
I'm
Your
still
Majesty.
gutted to... Oh, God, fuck off!
King KPV. All
I'm
hail.
still gutted. Yeah, like I'm still gutted for Coventry, but we'll be back next year. Coming back, we'll be back at the end of next season, winning a championship, coming to the Premier because Luton will just go down, mate. Watch, like the fixtures get announced in 2 weeks anyway, and set your diaries for 9 o'clock, people. Who are we gonna get? Anyone in the chat? Who do you think we'll get? Start now, people.
I reckon we'll get Man United twice, Arsenal twice, Newcastle twice, West Ham twice, and
Hold
basically
on,
every
Ben,
team
hold on.
twice.
Hold on, man. Hold it right there, fella. Let me stop you there, mate. Like, we can't have them twice. You got, like, we have, like, 2019-20 season. We were supposed to play Arsenal at the end of August in 2019, but it got moved to the 1st of September, and we were supposed to have it in August because I watched your videos from the 1920 season. You were doing the fixtures, and the fixtures were announced, and we got Villa first, and we won 3-1. But then we go and lose to Newcastle, and then we beat Warwick City. So we to play Arsenal. Like, hopefully we'll get Arsenal at home, not away, because we always seem to play them away when the season begins. But I wouldn't mind playing Arsenal home at the start of the season. I just want to beat them. Like, revenge at home. They got lucky, but they bottled it. So, the biggest bottle job in Premier League history. Well done. City won the league. I was on loan at City, helping Pep win the league. Expression. I was on loan at City, mate. So, 7-time Premier League champion you're looking at here, fellas. 7 times.
As the new King, Carl, you can crown Arsenal as the biggest bottlers this season.
Bottle job. So, yeah, biggest bottle job. And so, yeah, they're not winning it again next year. So, we need a rebuild. And I'm still annoyed with Poch because I don't give a fuck, mate. He ain't winning nothing there. And, like, we're still going to beat them at home again next season. This is the first time we've actually beaten them in N17 since 2017 when Dele Alli got 2 goals, 2 assists from Crystal Lyric sensational blood. So next season, Chelsea, they're not in Europe. They're not in Europe and we're not. But I said in the chat before the game started, we weren't going to get Europe. And I'm actually glad we won't because I just want to focus on the league, win FA Cup and Carabao Cup double, then like getting
Easy
to
does
Europe.
it, KPV, eh? Easy does it.
Can't argue with royalty.
You can't argue with royalty here because you're looking at the king here of Tottenham, and so and it's a shame that it's not going to be called FIFA anymore. It's going to be called EA Sports FC. So get your pre-order the game, people. September is the end of September is when it comes out. So I'm going to pre-order it, and we're not done yet, Ben. Like I said, we're not done, mate. So give me what I want, mate. I want Sim because we haven't played Sim. Like, where is it, man? I still haven't played David yet. So
I always have time for the King.
everyone, if you want to see King, KTV, and Sim have a game of FIFA, give me a hell yeah, people. Anyway, Emir's up next.
I can't hear any KPV. I can't hear any.
Anyone in the chat, you want to see it? Give me a hell yeah. I'm out, over and out. So I will see you all. Like, you'll probably see me on the Late Late Show when Brian Daigle flies back to Toronto, Canada.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nice one, Carl.
I'm out. And as always, Levy sucks. Daigle in.
See you later, KPV. It's been a pleasure
See ya.
speaking to you all season.
Nice one,
Yeah.
Have a
Carl.
good summer.
I'll see you in the summer, and I hope we see you next season at a game. Like, yeah, let me know who we're gonna get, and I'll see you there. Sorry I couldn't see you this season because I had problems. So anyway, one last thing, I want to say thank you to everyone for their support because last Saturday was the day I lost my friend Michelle last year. So thank you everyone for your support, and I'll see you all next season. Peace out.
Nice
Big
one,
up
Carl.
KPV.
The king
Big
has
up
spoken.
to KPV. And up next, Amir. Let's get him on. Amir, how you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, but I don't know if I can top that, lads. Royalty, KTV, haven't got a shot.
Well, that was a nice speaking to you, Amir. We'll speak to you back.
It's hard to follow royalty. It's hard to follow royalty, Amir.
Amir, you must be happy that we've said goodbye to the season finally.
It's a relief. It's a relief, Ben. Honestly, it's one less thing to worry about until mid-August, roughly. Although knowing us, we've still got a lot to worry about, really, with our situation. We've got a boat with no captain, with no, vice captain,
With a hole at the bottom, letting the water in at the bottom.
hole at the bottom. It really is dire. And today was very bittersweet for me, guys. I must admit, because I really wanted to qualify for Europe. And it wasn't in our hands. We still went out and won the game, and Moura got a fantastic goal. So that's the sweet moment for me. And obviously Kane finishing off the season well. But it's bittersweet because we've not got Europe. There's no direction, and hopefully we can sort ourselves out in the summer. But the manager search goes on, and got to hope we get someone in soon, lads.
Was missing out on 7th a big disappointment for you today?
It was Tim. It was because I'm of the. George made a very valid point earlier about competing. My hope would be that if we could get the right players in, get a manager in with the right vision and a plan for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and we actually develop something and bring in, instead of signing players, for the name like we kind of did with Richarlison, just 60 mil, actually look at what we need, look at that defense, look at who we can bring in to bolster it. We've just discovered Porro, is playing fantastic. So we got Porro, we got Romero, we got Royale, who can, occasionally do a job and do well in there. So, my hope would have been that we could have nicked that 7th place or 6th place. We were in that position before we sacked Conte, that 6th or 7th was very plausible. So for me, it is a disappointing season, and I just hope for better for next season. Really, I'm really hoping that we can turn things around and get some positivity back into the club. I think it's important for everyone, really.
You touched on Lucas Moura before. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic goal right at the end. Was that a fitting way for him to say goodbye to the Tottenham Hotspur fans? And after seeing that goal, isn't it so frustrating that we can't see that on a regular basis or quality on a regular basis from Lucas?
It's one of the most frustrating things about Lucas is that he can come out with, dribbling past 3 players and just knocking it past the keeper. It was almost like it was a 5-a-side game or something. It was so easy. So it is very frustrating. I think, obviously we'll always have Amsterdam and we'll always have, what he did for us there. We'll always wonder, won't we? We'll always wonder and dream of what could have been if he had started in that final. But I just want to thank him because he's always shown a great attitude. And, I think he's one of those players that will go down in Tottenham history. But yeah, I think even he would say about himself that, that consistency, if he'd managed to do that, I mean, you're looking at a world beater there if he managed to do that once or twice in every couple of games there. So I want to thank Lucas for his time at Spurs. Done really, really well for me. Put in shifts, always showed a great attitude, and I wish him well wherever he ends up. I'm not sure where he's going.
Yeah, but worrying comments from Dejan Kulusevski after the game, alluding to that he doesn't know where he'll be playing football next season. What's your reaction to that?
It's an odd one. It's an odd one, that, because he said that he did want to stay and that he's a Spurs player and this and that just that shows really the mess at the management level and what's going on upstairs. With all due honesty, and Kulu, for me, he has been a bit disappointing this season. We were expecting a little bit more out of him, but he did have niggling injuries that hampered him. So I'd be happy to keep Kulu, to be quite frank. And I think there's a real talent in that young man, and he's only 22 or 23, or so he's got
He's 22,
a lot
I
of
believe,
development. 22, so a lot of developing to do there. A lot. You've got to get him fit.
Do you think like, judging by his comments, like he says, I don't know about my future. Do you reckon that's an indication that it is really up in the air, or do you think that's just talk to the interview and it's only a foregone conclusion that he's going to resign?
I don't think there's any foregone conclusion here. To me, that more would indicate to me that he might be on his way out, lads. To be honest, if he's saying at this stage that he doesn't know,
That's got me worrying.
you kind of want to tie things down for pre-season.
And what do you think of Harry Kane? Do you think he has played his last game for Tottenham after today? Getting 2 goals. He went over to away fans after the game, as you would expect after a tough season. But what's your heart telling you? Do you think that he's played his last game?
My heart's been telling me the same thing for the last however long, ages. And that hearing all the Spurs talk about Kane and should we do this and should we do that, and it's of my opinion that we should give that guy a lifetime contract and keep him here at Spurs for as long as we possibly can. All this talk of selling him for 100 million or 120 million. Honestly, who on the market there can replace Kane? If you could name me 3 players that can replace Kane and give you a 30 goal a season striker and do what Kane's doing, I'd love to know who they are. They're just not. They don't exist. They don't exist.
And Amir, finally, just before we let you go, who is your preferred choice for the manager next season? Obviously, slots out the window. Xabi Alonso, Pochettino, Vincent Kompany, Nagelsmann. The door is like half shut. Apart from those names, is there anyone that really comes out at you and says that he should be the next Tottenham manager?
I think it has to be Nagelsmann at this point. Has to be, right? I mean, surely, Poch on his way to Chelsea, what a disappointment. Has to be someone like Nagelsmann. And if Nagelsmann doesn't want to come, the one person that kind of, from all the research that I've been doing and looking at, I like the sounds of this Ange Postecoglou guy. I like the sounds of him. I like what he's doing. I like the attacking football. And he seems like an interesting character who maybe could get a rocket up these guys' backside. So maybe that's an outside chance. Apart from that, slim pickings, really. Slim pickings. But yeah, Nagelsmann, and if not him, then maybe Postecoglou. There's a real outlier. I can't remember his name, but he manages in Brazil.
Gallardo?
You're talking about Gallardo.
Is it Gallardo? I don't know if it's Gallardo.
He just left River Plate in Argentina, I think, earlier this season, and top manager.
Maybe it's the guy I'm thinking about. Is his tactics a bit funny? He does kind of like odd. He doesn't really have tactics. He does a kind of very strange tactical way of playing players out of position.
I think it is Gallardo you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, somebody like that as just giving a shot, like we gave a shot to Pochettino. Maybe I'm really frustrated at the manager search, really, to be honest. And it's just sad that we're in this situation. I just hope, Ben and Sin, that we're not in this situation in a year or two's time. I want a manager for 4, 5, 6, 7, as long as possible, because longevity breeds success in football, not this getting rid like every other year.
Absolutely. But I heard you had some good company today on your trips around. So I'm happy to hear about that. But Amir, no, it's a pleasure to speak to you throughout the season. And no doubt I'll be speaking to you very soon.
Take it easy, lads. And it's been a real pleasure tuning in. And thanks for everyone there in the chat that's out there listening. And, you know, onwards and upwards for Spurs. Although we've had a bit of a miserable season, we're going to go again in August. And we're going to get fired up for that.
All right. Up the Spurs, Amir. Good to speak to you as always. And we'll speak to you next time. Nice one, Amir. Is that all we have today?
That is, yeah.
All right. So that brings an end to the last fan show of the season. Once again, I would like to say thank you to all of you guys that have been tuning in throughout the season, through the bad times and the bad times this season. But look, I'm just so happy the season has come to an end. I'm not going to lie.
We've survived. We're still here, still standing. We've gone through it, and thankfully, it's all over.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Yeah. So obviously, all the usual content will be coming out tomorrow. Player ratings, 5 takeaways, and the final perspective of the season. So find out tomorrow to see who won that. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.